Sawubona, guys.
Which is hi in I think Zulu.
Did we pronounce it right?
If we didn't, then do not flame us.
Yes.
Anyways,
Sawubona.
welcome back to the podcast. You guys, it's been long since we've podcasted.
That's true.
So if we're rusty, do not clip us. Now today we have a very special and important guest, just
We
like all our
always
special
do.
and important guests. And now we would let him introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. Kevin Y. Brown. I'm the Chief Content Officer and Head of Strategy at AfriPods, which is a Pan-African podcast hosting and distribution platform. Very excited to be here with these intelligent and brilliant young men, Lem and Tendo. I'm excited about this conversation, and I also just want to say, man, I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks.
Love your curiosity about the world, the questions you've been asking me off camera, and I'm excited for who you guys actually grow up and become and who you are now. So kudos to you both and to your parents and the village that's raising you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Man, I have lots of questions. Let's begin with, what do you do for, what you told us that you you support podcasts in tech and podcast startups. So you also told us that you go around the world. You went around the world as like a motivational speaker, and you wrote some books. But tell us more about that.
Okay. So currently right now I am the Chief Content Officer and Head of Strategy at a company called AfriPods, which is a Pan-African podcast hosting and distribution platform. We are based here in Nairobi, headquartered in Nairobi, but we serve the entire diaspora as well as continental Africa. So that's our primary focus. And so at AfriPods, what we do, we're a tech solution that essentially helps to amplify African stories and African creators. And so a lot of my role, being that we're a startup, is I do a lot of partnerships. Like I got the first sub-Saharan African podcasters onto airlines, so you can hear their podcasts on airlines. I also got some other creators opportunities to have interviews with celebrities like Lupita Nyong'o, who's actually Kenyan. And then I worked thank you. And then I also just work to get monetary opportunities for creators, and we have different events and things like that in order to help creators like amplify their voices. We also have community events where creators can come in, where it's like, masterclass sessions and things like that. So I've been working in podcasting for about 10 years now. And it's been a really, really amazing experience. I started out, I got on radio in New York City, had my own show called the Create Your Life series, which is also a podcast. And then from there, I got onto the production side of things. So I have a podcast production company called Podcast Laundry. So we produce over 1,000 podcast episodes for different creators. And then I still run that company. And then now I also work on the tech side of podcasting at AfriPods. And working at AfriPods has been really cool and fun over the last 5 years, helping creators to amplify their stories and, going to different conferences in London and the United States and other places. To learn more about the industry, build relationships, and put African podcasters in a better position to monetize their genius and amplify their stories. Yeah.
What would you say is your most favorite country that you visited? And if you can tell us, why is it your most favorite country that you visited?
A favorite country that I've visited so far, I would say there's two. Japan, because I love architecture. And I like the simplicity, like they have a lot of minimalist design.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really cool. And it's like peaceful and zen. And then my other favorite country would be Kenya, which is why I chose to move here. I love it here. It's such a good quality of life at an affordable price, but easy to integrate into. You have the forest here. You can go to the coast within an hour. Amazing people, I think, is one of the best things overall about the entire pod. Not the entire pod, about the entire experience. And I think that, you can get so many different experiences by just going outside of the city. Go to Naivasha, go to Nakuru, go to Nanyuki, So you have all of these things available to you and opportunities available to you. So yeah, these are my two favorite countries.
That's awesome.
For my next question, what do you think inspired you to be in the media space? Like, is it something that you always knew, yeah, we're going to do this, or did it come up as something later in life?
So yeah, I think it was something that honestly I've always kind of paralleled in the media space, if I'm being honest. Like I felt like I always had the personality for it. But my god brother, Mike Stu, shout out to Mike Stu. He's the one who told me to start podcasting. He told me to start podcasting in 2005, and I didn't listen to him, so I didn't start until like 2016. And that kind of really put me on the path to, you know what I mean, being in broadcasting, you know, and on radio and podcasting and things like that. But my actual skill set is I'm actually a clothing designer. That's what I studied in college. Most people don't know that, don't understand that about me. Is like, yeah, I studied fashion design in college. So I'm actually a clothing designer by trade, and being able to communicate and do certain things is just a byproduct of, I think, being detailed and actually having the talent to be able to do so. And again, you know, there's also, you know, you have to work at these things too, right? So my time that I spent being an international motivational speaker and trainer actually helped me to prepare to be able to be on air as well as to podcast and be able to talk to you gentlemen here.
That's really cool. So if your, let's say 16-year-old self was to come and see how much you've accomplished right now, what would they say, or what would be their reaction?
My 16-year-old self would actually be proud of me because I'm actually living the dream that I had as a 16-year-old. And I think that's that's like the sweet spot, right? Is being able to do what you say you're going to do. But most people don't get to live their dreams. They get derailed. You know what I mean? And being able to live your dream comes with a lot of sacrifice. But when I was 16 years old, you know, I had 5 dreams, 5 things that I wanted to accomplish. One of them I still haven't accomplished, but I wanted to move far, far away from where I grew up. I wanted to be happy every day. I wanted to be a host of my own show. I wanted to get paid to be me, and I wanted to be a millionaire. And I've accomplished all of those things. I'm not a millionaire, not close. Yeah, yet. And so outside of those things, I mean, outside of that one thing, you know, like the 16-year-old me is like, would be happy and, you know what I mean, proud of who I've become or who he's become. And I think that he would say, you know, keep pushing, you know what I mean? And also to be kind to yourself, I think is the big thing. But also focus, you know what I mean? I think that's one of the most things, one of the best things that has helped me so far is being able to stay focused. And it's going to come with a lot of sacrifice, right? I think that that's underrated, how much you have to sacrifice and doing the things that you don't want to do in order to be able to do the things that you want to do. Like there's this quote that I learned. I'm in a fraternity in the United States, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And during our phase of becoming a member, we get to learn this quote called Caesar's model. It's weeks of sacrifice for a lifetime of paradise. And that is literally what a lot of times life is about, right? Like, especially, you know, as a teenager, you guys are teenagers, you know, sometimes you're like, man, I don't want to do that. And your parents are like, you need to do this, right? And so when you do those things that you don't want to do, number one, you probably discover something, you know what I mean, new. You also discover new things about yourself, but also it's for the greater good of yourself. And so that's super important.
Yeah.
My question is, based on the current society, do you think that it's good for your parents to, okay, let me start with this question. Were your parents supportive of your job, or was your society supportive of your dreams of becoming a media personality? And then my second question is, do you think that in this day and age, parents should trust their children when they say, for example, I want to become a content creator, or you should let your parents pick for you what you should do in life?
So I grew up as a foster child. So that's like the equivalent of an orphan in the U.S. So I lived in like many different homes. So if we talk about that, then I would have to say that certain adults were supportive and others were not, right? And so I leaned towards the people who were more supportive. Now, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to, or I didn't know exactly what I would become, but I knew like I loved clothes. And so I loved clothes because I didn't have clothes. So I used to draw the clothes that I wanted, you see. And so there were certain adults who were just kinder, you know what I mean, and more interested in that aspect of things, but also teaching me life lessons. So being a media personality wasn't what my main focus was. It was more so about just getting away from where I grew up and going to go design clothes and in college. And so college I found to be my gateway to go. Now things are different now. You know, you can be a full-time content creator, right, with YouTube and all these other things and make a career out of that. That wasn't necessarily readily available to us. You still had all of these gatekeepers where you needed to go to like a big network or be selected, you know what I mean, and all of these things. Now you can just pod at home or do whatever it is that you want, which is great, you know what I mean? So I think that as a kid, you'll have different talents and things that you'll be good in, and then you'll also have adults who have been and have more experience than you do. So I don't think that you should let a kid totally select what it is that they want to do unless that kid is like special and has really shown and proved that they're committed to this, right? Because one day you might say, oh, you know what, I want to play the piano. And then a week later, you're not interested in the piano anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so you have the prerogative to try different things and to do different things. But to decide, you know what I mean, there's special kids and special talents who are like, hey, you know what, I'm committed to this. This is what I'm going to do forever. Or at least until something shows me that I can do something else. And so I think that that's a tricky question. I think that it will probably be kid by kid. You have to take it from there. But I also think that, you know, parents have wisdom that you should take into consideration when you're working to decide on who it is that you want to be and who you're going to become. And I'll share this with you, something that I think is super important. No matter what you decide to do, your work ethic and your discipline is what's going to take you and make you who you're going to become. So like, let's say, for example, like I'm an executive in podcasting now, but I use this skill set from being a clothing designer in my everyday work, right? Like the attention to detail, the ability to, like, when you're designing clothes, you might have to storyboard, which takes hours and hours and hours of time. And then you create the garments and you're just sewing it hours and hours of time. And then your clothes go up on a runway for 60 seconds. So you did all of this work, hours, months and months and months of work for 60 seconds, right? And so that discipline, that delayed gratification, that love for that is what I take into the work that I do now, right? So like I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? I exercise at least 4 times a week. I'm a vegetarian. I don't drink. Like all of these things, all of these ways of being disciplined and things like that, this stuff carries over into your work. And, you know, Will Smith has this quote where he talks about the difference between an A and a B. Like people underestimate the difference between being good and being great. And a lot of times it's the discipline and the things that people don't see, right? Like some people are like, okay, you know what? You know, okay, this person has abs or this person is in great shape, you know what I mean? Or like Kipchoge, he can run for so long, right? Or at such a great pace. But they don't talk about the training that he does, right? Like that's not highlighted enough. Like LeBron James, he's able to play well into his 40s at a really, really high level. What does he wake up and do every day? How does he spend his time? What is his diet like? How much money does he spend on his body, right? Like, how does he condition? What does he listen to? Who are the people around him? How does he manage his business at the same time, right? Those are the questions that you have to ask, because when he's playing basketball, you're just seeing the end result of the work. And it's important for you to understand the work that takes place before you get to the big stage. And so all of those things matter, and that's what will transpire. So that kid who wants to today be a piano player, tomorrow be a content creator, so on and so forth, you have the right to change. You have the ability to change, but always take in knowledge from your folks and from your friends. Your friends could be mentors too. I call them friend tours. One of my friends, Shanti Blanchard, he says that. But also, you know, that work ethic and that discipline, it's going to translate into everything that you do. How you do one thing is usually how you do other things. So,
what have been some of your best or most successful moments in the Afripods?
oh man, there's been a lot of successes. I think a couple of them have been seeing the growth of some of my team members. I had certain goals for them to reach. And, you know, one of them, I wanted them to be like on stages, like speaking all the time and doing things. And so, you know, shout out to Kathoni. You know, she's doing that on a high level. She's our community manager. Another colleague, Angela, you know, her presenting at different events and things like that. And so to see the growth of my team members has been really cool. Like I said earlier, you know, I got some of the first sub-Saharan African podcasters onto airlines, so you can hear their podcasts on airlines. That was a really big accomplishment, in my opinion. Connecting Adele Nyong'o and Lupita Nyong'o to have a conversation on Adele's podcast about Lupita's, at that time, podcast that was just released. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we once interviewed Adele, actually.
Yeah, she's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a very brilliant woman. So, I mean, those are two of the highlights. Africa Podcast Day, which is February 12th. We just had one this year. Actually, it's an annual event, but this year we had the biggest one. I think we had close to like 200 people, if not over 200 people there. So, you know, also servicing and helping over 3,000 creators, you know what I mean, during my time here. So it's been a really good experience, a great ride. And, you know, one that I'm happy to have been a part of, but also just seeing creators grow and come up to you, you know, at certain times and be like, hey, man, thanks, you know, so much for taking the time to talk to me and help me grow my show and grow my knowledge in the space and things like that. And then also just the relationships that you build. You know, there's guys who I can call on in the industry that I wasn't able to. And even people who are not in the industry that I met through work, you know, even my friend that I called earlier so we could find out how to say hello in Zulu, right? Like those types of relationships and being able to go and travel the world. So it's been an amazing experience.
Interesting.
True.
Some people usually say that inspiration can come from the least of places. Now, have you ever had a moment in your life that someone like completely unexpected said something to you that helped you get where you are today, like completely changed your mindset?
I've had a lot of moments like that, and thank you for asking me that question because you actually caught me off guard. But the first thing that comes to mind right now is I was working. So I used to work in the fashion industry in New York, and my boss made this statement. He said, change is constant, growth is optional. And I'll never, ever forget that quote. It's just one of those things where everything around you will change. You know what I mean? Like you gentlemen, you'll get older, right? Your parents will get older. You know, the world will change. New technologies will happen, so on and so forth. But for you to grow and become something better and become a better person or, you know, learn and things like that, that's the result of you choosing to grow even when it's hard. And so making that choice is important and should always, in my opinion, be something that you do. And so that's something that I do. I'm always looking for ways to grow and new things to do and learn.
Now we'll go into overtime. If you don't feel comfortable answering the questions, it's perfectly fine. But then for my first question, who would you say is the most famous person or the most known person you've met or that you have in your contacts?
Most famous person that I've met. Most famous person that I've met would probably be Jay-Z, Rihanna, or Diddy.
This is just not fair.
They're not in my contacts, but I've met them.
What's your favorite sport?
Favorite sport would be basketball.
Basketball. Favorite player?
Kobe Bryant, 1000%.
Kobe Bryant.
But the reason why I love Kobe is because of his approach to the game, his mentality, his discipline, his regiment. and his commitment to being the best that he could be. That's my thing. Like, always be committed to being as good as you can be. Your competition is yourself more than anything else. These some really, really talented and skilled players. You know what I mean? Like, I really like to watch Kyrie Irving play. Like, this guy, he's just a savant, man. Like, it's unreal. So, you know, I really appreciate the skill set that guys have.
Interesting. What would you say is something that you didn't really find that much? Something that you like here that you wish that could be done differently from when you lived in the US? Like cultures or something that you found here that you think, oh yeah, if they did this in the US, it would be so much like cooler. And then after that, you can tell me what you think you found in the US that was nice, that in Kenya you like things that you don't necessarily like about Kenya.
Okay. So what I like about Kenya is I really like how I think everyone is kind. You know what I mean? Kind people in the U.S. too. I mean, people are nice. So I really appreciate that about Kenya. What I really appreciate about the U.S. is, I think, the structure. But you can't compare the two because the countries are, the years that the countries have been, you know, independent is, you know, hundreds of years apart, right?
Newbies.
Yeah. So, you know, you have to appreciate that, you know what I mean? So I think that I have an appreciation for both places. I think that, you know what I mean, Kenya's a great place to live.
What's your favorite car brand?
Man,
Car company.
I haven't had a car since in a long time. I mean, I think it's every kid's dream to like own a Lamborghini or a Ferrari at some point, right?
Yeah.
But I really like Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
Yeah, that's the James Bond car.
Yeah, hear that.
So I mean, but you have some other cool brands like Build Your Dreams. You know what I mean? BYD is a really cool one. I saw when I was in Dubai, the brand Jetour, they have like a really cool truck. So, you know, it just depends. But I can't say that I'm a car aficionado, you know what I mean? But I appreciate a nice car when I see one.
What would you say, like, what would you tell someone who wants to be in the media space like you? Like someone who wants to, what advice would you give to someone who wants to either be in the media space, or advice you'd give to anyone really? It doesn't really have to be based on your job, like, because age comes with wisdom. Like, what's something you'd tell anyone who aspires to be like you?
Or aspires to be successful? I think decide what you want to do. Figure out the path to get there. And be relentless in your pursuit of it. Right? And what that means is if it's not in alignment with that, let it go by the wayside. Don't do it. And when it's fun or when it's going great, stay here in the middle. When it's going bad, stay here in the middle. So stay even keel. Don't get too high on the highs. Don't get too low on the lows. Right? And just continue in your pursuit. Do not stop. And, you know, you'll either hit your target or you'll become something and find something greater in the pursuit of it. So I think that's the biggest thing. And like, you know, like my show is called the Create Your Life series. Create your life. You know, like a lot of people stop in pursuit of their dreams because they let other things distract them. Stay focused, right? I'm living my 16-year-old dream because I stayed focused. And there were times where I lost focus as well, right? It's not just a straight line. But again, you got to go and climb that mountain and, you know, keep pursuit.
Deep. That is deep. So the podcast has been really fun. Remember to check our other episodes. And also, turn the camera to him. He also has a show, so go and check it out. If you want to know more about him that we haven't explored on the podcast, the good thing is that Google exists, so you can go and research. Go and check out his content and research more about him. And yeah, if you ever meet him in real life, he doesn't bite. You go and say hi. It's been really nice. Now we shall say bye in Zulu. 3, 2, 1. Hamba hale.
We are Mtoto News, a digital platform that empowers children. We curate and create engaging content about and by children. Through audio, video, writing, and infographics, we believe children should be players, not spectators. Through child-led research, we amplify young voices, shaping policies and programs. To partner or donate, send an email to info@mtotonews.com or call 0705855258. Mtoto News, making children visible.